Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I am brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. This is our Hood Recovery Services, and I am excited to do your July 20th Spiritual Principle Day reading with you from Narcotics Anonymous. If you need to reach me, please reach out to me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into this meditation. All right, hopefully you can see that. Forgiveness sets us free. Forgiving is its own reward. We start to find peace within ourselves. When we are free of guilt, shame, and resentment, our minds can be still. Living Clean, Chapter 7, entitled Love. Move some things around a bit here so we can see better. Okay. Self-righteous indignation used to be its own reward. We were uplifted by our intolerance of other points of views. Mad rage was addictive. No one was going to stop us from reaping its choice benefits, isolating ourselves from others, a free pass to gossip, fortifying our side against the person who wronged us, and of course, 1,000 more reasons to get high. A member shared, why would I want to forgive when that adrenaline rush of righteous anger felt so daggone good? I changed the terminology, right? But what do we really gain by being right? It's a distraction from the real problem. All the hard work we put into staying angry at others could be used to improve ourselves. And like drugs, that initial rush of self-righteous indignation wears off, exposing the shame and guilt lurking below the surface. I needed more just to stay well, the member continued. 1,000 hits of justified anger weren't enough. We end up alone obsessing about our guilt, shame, and resentment, stoking a fire of fixation no one is tending to but us. Through the process of recovery, we can let go of reacting to every injustice we experience or think we do. That's a bit of relief right there. Beyond that, we seek to forgive and do the work required to let go of resentment. The rewards are far more satisfying and long-lasting. We become more content with minding our own business and less inclined to keep tabs on the behavior of others. We actively try to love them instead, or at least try to understand them. And a lot can be said for offloading the resentments we lugged around forever. There's so much freedom in that. There's lightness and even some ease in walking through life. For many of us, forgiving others does get easier over time, not least because we have experienced its rewards. I know what it's like to be imprisoned in a deep, dark hole of anger and self-righteousness, the member went on. But freedom ain't free. And a lot of times the price of freedom is forgiveness. Who in my life have I forgiven or at least started to? And what has that been like? How might my life be different if I continue down this path? This is positive. This is a positive, even though it's a difficult reading, it is a positive reading. The reading is talking about the benefits of being forgiven, but more importantly, forgiving other people, right? The benefits of having the quality, the spiritual principle of forgiveness is that you don't have to walk around with these heavy loads and heavy burdens of anger and resentment and shame and guilt. You don't have to carry those anymore, right? A lot of times what happens is that without even thinking about it, we can kind of fall into the old habit of taking fault with people. People can do things sometimes mindlessly. They're not even thinking about how they're coming across. And we will be offended by that person. And we start to set up barriers between ourselves and them. Failing to realize how many times did we put our foot in our mouths? How many times did we misspeak? And we just assume that if we say, I'm sorry, I did not mean to put it, that does not sound the way that I mean it, right? And we expect people to just be okay with that. And generally they are, but you know what? You would never know if they weren't, because very few people are going to actually come up to you and say, I didn't like how you said that. They're just going to let you go. They're just going to stop interacting with you because most people do not like conflict. And if you look at your own circumstances, the people that you generally don't mind having conflict with are the people that you probably live with or your children, right? You probably don't mind having conflict with them because you know that they're not going to drop loving you just because you guys are having a bad day. But outside of your nucleus, outside of that, outside of your circle, what about other people in the world? What about people in the rooms? What about conflict with them? How do you handle that? Right? When something comes up, do you just be like, they ain't no good, no way. I can't stand them anyhow. Right? Do you have that dismissive disposition about other people? And you harbor that resentment? You let that resentment, if it was a ship, right? You let that resentment harbor at the dock of your heart, and you let it just sit there, rent free, never budging. The price of freedom is forgiveness. I would say love and forgiveness are two of the most powerful spiritual principles a person could desire to have. Think about the people that you forgave and how freeing that was for your relationship with them. And think about the people that you refuse to forgive and why are you refusing to forgive them? Now, I'm not talking about people that continually take advantage of you and you have gotten to the point where you had to draw a line in the sand. No, I'm not talking about those people, right? I mean, you're just being cautious, right? It's not like you hate them or that you talk about them and character assassinate them every time their name comes up. And I'm not talking about being wise and not foolish. I'm talking about people that you have harbored resentments with and you refuse to forgive them. Anytime their name comes up, you're the first person to mention, you should have seen them back in 1980. Okay, who even is keeping count like that, right? So I want to challenge you today to be a forgiving individual. And again, even if you are drawing the line in the sand with someone that has continually taken advantage of you, you can do that without being mean about it, right? You can show tough love without being just downright ornery and mean about it, right? And so today I want you to go deeper. I want you to go deeper and remember forgiveness sets us free. It unties that ship of resentment and hatred. It undocks it and lets it go out to sail somewhere else. We're free to allow other spiritual principles come in and sit at the dock of our heart and have our attention and have our love. You know, I'm smiling behind the scenes even as I'm saying this because I know how powerful being forgiven can be, but I also know how powerful forgiving other people can be for myself as well as them. I want you to challenge yourself today to be a forgiving individual and enjoy the fruits of your recovery fully. My name is Mighty Stream, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.